Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am here with my early season NFL predictions for the 2024-2025 season. If you enjoy the content, make sure you do like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. With that being said, let's get to my early season predictions. Alrighty, and we are starting in the AFC North. So just remember, this is all entirely my own opinion based off of just what I'm thinking these teams are going to act like. So in my opinion, I think the Browns will be at the bottom of their division, but I think the whole AFC North can win, or excuse me, can make the playoffs. So we'll see how this goes, but I think the Browns will be good, but I do expect them to be at the bottom of their division, in my opinion. Coming in at number 3, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Steelers are also very, very good, and I think they can make the playoffs. I'm very questionable about their quarterback situation. I don't know what Russ has left in the tank, and I'm not sure if Justin Fields can be the option that the Steelers want him to be, but we'll see. I think Najee Harris, he needs to step it up, though. I think the run game needs to be a huge factor for them, so we'll see what the Steelers got this year. Coming in at number 2 in the AFC North, we have the Baltimore Ravens. I know the Ravens made it to the AFC Championship game, and I think that the Ravens will be a lot better. They should be even more improved than they were last year, just because they have a lot of new additions. Their run game is improved with Derrick Henry. I expect the Ravens to be really good, but Joe Burrow is freaking back. So I do expect the Bengals to win this division and pretty much win it. I wouldn't say handedly. I think a lot of these 4 teams will kind of eat each other alive. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I got the Bengals winning the AFC North. Moving over to the AFC East, I do have, shocker to almost nobody, I have the New England Patriots at the bottom of their division. I just don't know what they saw in Drake May to draft him where they did. And I'm just not certain that this team is going to do very well offensively. I think the defense will be pretty good, like they always are, but I have no faith in them offensively. Coming in at number 3, shocker to some of you, I have the Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills did not improve. I think they regressed in a lot of key positions, especially in their skill position area. I don't think their wide receivers are as good as in years past, mainly because Stephon Diggs has left. But we'll see what I believe his name is Keon Coleman. He's their rookie that they drafted. We'll see what he's got, but Josh Allen will have to carry this team even more than he usually does, and we know how I feel about Josh Allen when he tries to play Superman. It just rarely works out for them. So yeah, I got the Bills at number 3. Coming in at number 2 in the AFC East, I have the New York Jets. That might also shock some of you. I'm high on the Jets, but I'm not delusionally high on the Jets. I think they are good, especially on paper. I think they are very, very good, but I don't know. There's something about Aaron Rodgers being as old as he is, being as uncommitted to football as it appears, and I'm waiting for him to prove me wrong. So we'll see. I do have the Jets number 2 in their division currently, and number 1 I have the Dolphins. I think Dolphins, on paper, they are the best team in this division. I think they are very good. I think their run game is great. Their skill position is great. We'll see what Tua can do, but we'll see. I think their defense is much improved as well. So I got the Miami Dolphins at number 1 in the AFC East. And moving over to the AFC South, we do have the Tennessee Titans coming in at number 4. I'm just not sure Will Levis is the guy. I'm not impressed by anything that they're doing. And they lost Derrick Henry, which was the focal point to their offense. So I just expect this team to regress quite dramatically. Number 3, I have the Colts. I like Anthony Richardson. I think he's going to be very good, but he's coming off this injury, and I'm not sure how much that will impact his running ability. So we'll see what they can do, but as of right now, I'm just not high on the Colts or the Titans whatsoever. So we'll see. Coming in at number 2, I do have the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are decent, and I think they could make a run for the playoffs, but I think there are so many good teams in the AFC that I don't think the Jaguars will find a spot unless they can win this division. But CJ Stroud, I'm very high on CJ Stroud. I like him a lot. I like what this team is doing. They are building and thriving around CJ, and this is exactly what should have happened for Deshaun Watson, but I think their head coach wasn't great at that time, and just a lot of other bullshit was happening. But yeah, I think CJ Stroud is in a great position, and I'm really high on the Texans this year. I think they could they could potentially make it to the AFC Championship. But we will see about that. And finally, over to the AFC West. Coming in at number 4, shocker to absolutely nobody, is the Denver Broncos. I have no idea what to make of the Denver Broncos. I am not high on them. I just don't understand what they're doing. I think Bo Nix has the potential to be decent. I think they just need to give him time. But in terms of wide receivers, I'm just not seeing it for the Denver Broncos. Running game, I don't see it for the Denver Broncos. Defense, their secondary is not bad, especially with Pat Surtain. I think they can be pretty good, but defensive line, I'm not high on the Broncos, and we'll see what Sean Payton can do. Maybe he can pull some magic out of his hat. Coming in number 3, unfortunately, I have the Raiders. I like the Raiders, and I have a lot of friends who are Raider fans, but I don't know what they're doing quarterback-wise. Aiden O'Connell, he's serviceable, I guess, but I'm just not seeing what everybody else is seeing, especially the Raider coaching staff. I just don't see it. I think they need to go get a new quarterback, and I'm not sure who that's going to be, but maybe it's Gardner Minshew. Maybe Minshew can do something. I think Minshew's here. Anyway, but yeah, I'm just not sure what they're doing. I think their defense will be as good as they always are, but I think their defense kind of crumbles down when it comes to later games because their offense is just getting off the field and not scoring any points. So I got the Raiders in number 3, and I don't think I changed this at all from last year. I had the Chargers at number 2. I think Chargers look really good on paper. I think Justin Herbert needs to take a step forward, and I think Jim Harbaugh is the guy to get him there. So we'll see. I think defensively, they have a lot of great players on paper, but we'll see what they can do. I know Jim Harbaugh, he's good defensively as a coach, but I think a lot of things went well for him in Michigan, circumstantially, that made his defense really good. Like his assistant coaches, his defensive coordinator, and all that. But we'll see. We'll see what he can do. And shocking nobody, I have the Chiefs at number 1. I don't want to talk about the Chiefs. The Chiefs are good. They're gonna be good. They're improved. They have better wide receivers. Let's move on. Coming in over to the NFC, we are starting with the NFC North. I have the Vikings at number 4. I don't think this should shock many of you. I think on paper they're really good, but I just don't think the execution will be what it needs to be for this team. I'm totally happy to be proven wrong, but I don't know. I'm just not high on this team. I don't know what they're doing in the run game. I think their secondary is a little shoddy at times, but we'll see. I think Justin Jefferson is their best player, and in my opinion, he should request a trade because I don't think the Vikings are going anywhere. Coming in at number 3 is the Fighting Caleb Williams. The Chicago Bears. I think the Bears are good on paper. I think they're really good on paper, but I'm not sure how good Caleb's going to be in his rookie year. I don't know if I'm the only person in this boat, but I was not impressed with Caleb Williams in his last year at USC. I've seen him do good things. I've seen him do a lot of great things, even, but I just don't see the generational talent, and I'm happy to be late to the Caleb Williams party, but I'm not seeing it yet. So we'll see. I've just seen it so many instances where the game is coming down to the line and they need Caleb to make the play. This was at USC, and he just could not do it. So we'll see. I'm totally happy to be proven wrong here. Coming in at number 2 is the Detroit Lions. I like the Lions a lot, and I do expect the Lions to make the playoffs, but I think the Packers are just a little bit better at the moment. I think Jordan Love is really good, and I think the defense for Green Bay will be decent, but I do think Green Bay's offense will be really good, and I don't think anybody wants to play the Packers come playoff time. I think Jordan Love can get them there. I really do. Especially last year, I was very impressed with Jordan Love. I think he can get them there. As back to the Lions, I think the Lions are really good, and I don't think the Lions have gotten any worse. Especially, I think their running game is going to get really, really good. I'm higher on the Packers right now. So I do have the Packers winning the NFC North. Moving over to the NFC East, I have the Giants. I just don't understand why they kept Daniel Jones. I just don't understand what the purpose was. We've seen what Daniel Jones can be. I've seen him have a handful of really good games, but I've seen him be mediocre more often than not. So why is he still the starting quarterback here? I genuinely have no idea. Yeah, I'm very low on the Giants this year. I think everywhere else on their roster is really good. I shouldn't say really good. I think they're serviceable to good. But I think their quarterback situation is just not going to work. Not going to work for them. Coming in number 3, shocker, I do have the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys did not improve in any way. And I think they regressed, in fact. And I don't think their run game is going to get better. And I think their run game was ass last year. So I don't have the Cowboys doing much. And I'm very, very low on the Cowboys. So sorry, Cowboy fans, but I don't believe any of this year. Coming in number 2, I do have the Washington Commanders, and this might shock you guys, but I do like what's his name, Dan Quinn. I like Dan Quinn. I think he can do it. They did get a lot of veteran help over there, especially in their defense, and I expect Dan Quinn to have this team, second, third in their division, and maybe contending for a playoff spot, but we'll see. This division is very, very difficult to predict, but I do have the Eagles winning the division strictly because I think the Eagles are the best of this bunch, and I think the Eagles improved. I think Jalen Hurts has the same problem that Josh Allen has, but I've seen Jalen Hurts be Superman, and it works successfully. I think he just needs to dial it back, rely on Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry will make this team infinitely better. So we'll see. I do have the Eagles winning the NFC East, but I don't know how confident I am on this pick. Going over to the NFC South, coming in at number 4, I do have the New Orleans Saints. I just don't trust Derek Carr anymore. He was not great last year. I think Alvin Kamara is starting to regress a little bit. Chris Olave is still really good, but I'm just not high on anybody else that they've got. I just don't see it. I think their defense is still going to be pretty stout in my opinion, but I don't know. I'm just not convinced on offense for the Saints. Coming in number 3, I do have the Carolina Panthers. I think the Panthers will be a little bit better. I think they've improved in a lot of key areas that they needed to improve in, but especially their offensive line. But I'm just not convinced that they will be able to have that clutch factor to win those games that they need to win against the playoff teams. So I think the Panthers are trending in the right direction, but I don't think they're there yet. Number 2, I have the Buccaneers. I like the Buccaneers a lot on paper. I think their defense has gotten a lot better. They've retained a lot of their offensive talent, and I like Baker. I like Baker a lot, and I think Baker is thriving here. If he can just remain healthy and not try to be Superman, I think this team can make the playoffs and maybe make a little bit of noise. Coming in number 1, I know a lot of people have the Falcons winning this division, and I think it's just because the Falcons are it's between the Falcons and the Buccaneers for me, but I think the Falcons are the better of these 4 teams. I think Bijan Robinson needs to step up. He has to be the offensive focal point for this team, but we'll see. And Kirk Cousins, I like Kirk Cousins, and I think Michael Penix is here as well. So we'll see how long Kirk Cousins keeps his job, but we'll see. I think there's a lot to love about the Falcons this year. Moving over to the NFC West, I do have the Cardinals coming in at last. I think the Cardinals are decent, especially on paper, but I just don't see their run game doing much. I don't mind James Conner, but I just don't think he is the answer for them in the run game. And I'm not sure. I'm on the top of my head, I'm not sure who their backup is, but I'm just not convinced for the Cardinals. I think their defense will be as good, if not maybe a little bit worse than last year, but we'll see. Kyler's going to have to carry this team pretty hard. Coming in number 3, unfortunately, I do have my Seattle Seahawks. I'm not low on my Seahawks necessarily. I think the other 2 teams in our division are better than we are. I think the Seahawks, with our new head coach, with the way our team is trending, especially our skill positions are amazing. Our team is predicated on if Geno Smith can carry us. Because Geno Smith, I think he can do it, get us to the playoffs and maybe make a deep playoff run, but he makes some boneheaded mistakes sometimes, and it is so frustrating. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I expect our defense to be a lot better with Coach Mack, so we'll see what the Seahawks can do this year. Shocker to some of you, I do have the Niners at number 2. I like the Niners. I think they are good on paper, but I think last year they got very lucky that none of their players got severely injured, and I think that is a rare thing to happen. I don't expect them to be as healthy as they were last year. I think their offensive line is decent, especially with what's his name? Anyway, their best player on offensive at their offensive line. I think he's great, but other than him, I'm not really convinced on their offensive line. I think their defensive line and their defensive secondary is going to be as good as they were last year. So it's kind of just predicated on if their offense can stay healthy, with every single one of their skill position areas being as injury prone as they had been apart from last year. So we'll see. And we'll see if Purdy's the guy. But I do have the Rams at number 1. The reason I have the Rams at number 1 is because I like the Rams a lot on paper, but especially in I think their defense has gotten a lot better. I think their defensive line, when Aaron Donald's gone, it's gonna be a little weird to see, but I think they are going to improve, and I do have the Rams being very good in this division. I do have the Rams winning this division, so we'll see. It's all kind of predicated on if Matt Stafford can stay healthy. So we will see about the NFC West. Alrighty, now we are over to my early playoff predictions. So we are starting with the AFC. Coming in at the number 7 seed, I do have the New York Jets. I think the Jets are going to be a playoff team for sure. I think Aaron Rodgers can get them there. I'm not sure how far he can get them in the playoffs, but as of right now, I do have the Jets making the playoffs. Coming in at number 6 seed, I do have the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Steelers are very, very good on paper, and their success is very reliant on who is going to be their starting quarterback, especially going into the future. So we'll see what they can do, but I'm high on the Steelers for sure. Number 5, I do have the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Ravens are really good, and I would not be surprised if they won their division again, especially with getting Derrick Henry. I'm very confident in this team being as good, if not better, than they were last year, and they made it all the way to the AFC Championship game, so we'll see. Number 4, I do have the Miami Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are really good, especially on paper. I think they have a lot of great skill positions, but I expect them to win their division and make the 4 seed, but I do not expect them to make very much noise in the playoffs, just because they've kind of been a whimper every single time we've seen them in big games. So we'll see. I'm less confident on the Dolphins as I'm talking more. But coming in number 3, I do have the Houston Texans. I think the Texans are really good. I think they are much even better than they were last year, so much improved for sure. And I think CJ Stroud will take that step forward, and I don't think he will have a sophomore slump, in my opinion. So we will see about the Houston Texans. Number 2, I do have the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bengals are really, really good, and I think Joe Burrow is probably my favorite player to watch currently right now. He's just, I think when he is on, I don't think there's anybody better than him. Maybe rivals Mahomes, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm really high on the Bengals, and until somebody beats the Chiefs, I got the Chiefs winning the AFC. I just don't see it. Don't see anybody beating the Chiefs, in my opinion. So now let's move over to the NFC. For the 7 seed, I do have the Buccaneers. I really debated on putting my Seahawks right here, but I just don't see it. Not in our first year. If we make the playoffs, I'm so happy to be proven wrong. But as of right now, I do have the Buccaneers getting the 7 seed. I think the Buccaneers are a really scrappy team. I think they can get to the 7 seed, maybe the 6 seed. But as of right now, I have them at the 7. Number 6, I do have the Detroit Lions. The reason I have the Lions this low, and it seems really low to have the Lions at the 6 seed, but it's just because I don't think they're going to win their division. And the team that I have at the 5 seed is... I mean, it's the fucking Niners, man. Like, what do you expect? It's the San Francisco Niners. I think their rosters compared to each other, the Niners win 10 out of 10 times, in my opinion. So we will see about this. But yeah, I got the Niners at the 5 seed, Lions at the 6 seed, and the NFC, I think it's the NFC South. Winners, the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Falcons will be I don't think they're going to make much noise in the playoffs, in my opinion. I think they are improved, and I think they can be really good, or scratch that. I think they can be serviceable to too good, but we'll see. Number 3, I do have the Eagles. I think the Eagles are pretty decent, in my opinion. I think the Eagles, especially on paper, I think they are very good. I keep saying on paper, and it's because we haven't seen anything. So apologies for that. But yeah, I think the Eagles are really good. I think they have a lot of great players. They've improved in a lot of ways, and I think Jalen Hurts can thrive here for this year for sure. Number 2, I do have the Green Bay Packers. I think the Packers will be really good this year. I am very high on the Packers. I think the Packers have the potential to make a Super Bowl. I genuinely do. But the number 1 seed in the NFC for me is the LA Rams. I think the Rams are really, really good. I think if Matt Stafford can stay healthy, if their run game can get off the ground, I think this team is going to be very, very good. And they are such an annoying team to play against. I hate the Rams. I hate the Rams, man. All right, now to my official Super Bowl prediction. Coming out of the NFC, I have the LA Rams. I'm sorry. I'm really high on the Rams this year. I was high on them at the end of last season. I thought they had a chance to make the Super Bowl last season, but we'll see. I think the Rams are good. I hate them. I hate Sean McVay, but like in a respectful way. Like I like them, I respect them, but man, do I hate their guts. They're all just rivals, man. I hate them. Anyway, and shocking some of you, especially for how I predicted last year, my early prediction last year, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bengals are really good, and I think they are going to make the Super Bowl again. I think they're going to beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game to make their second Super Bowl. And now over to my Super Bowl champ. Any guesses? You know, it took me a minute to think about this, but I do have the Cincinnati Bengals winning the Super Bowl. It's going to be a rematch against the Rams, but the Rams don't have one player that they had last time, and that is Aaron Donald. And Aaron Donald is the reason they won that game. So I have the Bengals here. I got the Bengals winning. And with that is my early 2024-2025 NFL predictions. What did you guys think? Did I offend you? Did I shit on your team? Let me know in those comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.